Hey everyone, welcome back. I wanted to kind of go over a few things here that I've been working on in the garage. Just trying to get some insulation installed here before it gets a little bit colder. Back and forth on the type of insulation I want to insulate this building with. And like typical pole barns, you got some pretty big wide spaces here. These are roughly about 8 feet on center. There's a variety of different insulation methods. So spray foam, that's out of the question. It's just way too overpriced for me. So a couple other options, I'm looking at, I want to frame these out because I want to eventually put a wall. I am going to put girts on the outside of the posts. That's where I'm going to put the wall girts. Some people can do what they call like bookshelf girts, where they build framing on the insides of these walls. That's a lot of extra lumber, and yeah, you gain just a little bit of extra space by putting them on the inside, but in my case I'm not too concerned about that. So my best option, I feel, is trying to find some insulation that will fit between these two posts, and trying to find 8 foot wide is next to impossible. It doesn't exist, at least in my area, a whole lot. So trying to find some alternative options here. Cheapest option, but still efficient insulation, is just fiberglass. And you can see I've already started to put some of these bats behind the posts here a little bit. But let me show you here what I'm gonna go with. I found a product called Silver Coat. I think that's the company that manufactures it, or at least sells it. And they make some pretty wide bats. So I can get easily, I can get 4 foot bats ordered through a local Menards store. And like this one, for example, that I purchased, 60 feet long. So 60 feet, we'll do a couple bays, a couple of those 8 foot sections. So I think that's what I'm gonna go with. And I've already started some prep work, and actually was able to install a couple of these. So I wanted to kind of show you what it looks like. So the first thing I had to do is install a couple boards on the bottom here. So I installed this board here, and then I also installed a plate or a board on the very bottom down there. And that's to kind of help tuck that insulation in, keep it in place. And then I also, to divide these bays up, because again, they're 8 feet, let me step back here. So I installed this board here all the way from the floor to the ceiling. And that's roughly about 4 feet on center there. So that gives me something easily to attach that insulation to on both sides, and kind of show you what I've started here too. Here's a section that I began as a trial run, I guess you want to call it. So you can see that that's basically two 4 foot bat sections. And this is underneath my loft here. But you can see that I have it stapled here, and then on each side. And it's nice because this has a nice, it's like a plastic backing. I mean, it does rip fairly easily, but it's enough that a staple can hold it, and it stays in place. Here's that same section, except up in the loft area. You can kind of see they go all the way to the ceiling there. And then to kind of help hold it after I put the staples in, I had these small pieces left over after cutting some boards down. And I kind of just wedged those up in there, nailed those up tight to kind of hold that plastic up in there. And this will all be covered up here anyhow, so you'll never see any of that once the wall's on. But that's kind of what it looks like. So I just need to kind of continue on down the bay there. And I think this insulation will work out pretty well. It's It's rated for R19. It's about 5 inches thick. Should be plenty of insulation value for my uses anyhow. So here's the loft area. I got this whole entire back wall done, and just the side section there. So it turned out really good. I think the stuff hangs pretty easily. It just takes time, it's tedious and awkward, as I mentioned. You can see the wall thimble here. Sorry, it's a little noisy, heater's on. But I left a little gap there, about a 2-inch gap all the way around. And it's plenty. Once you leave that air gap, I mean, there's no way that insulation can get hot enough. So we'll take it back down here. Got all this wall done. I'll show you the back of the loft here, or the underside of the loft, and what I got done on it. So as you can see, I have it all the way down. Both end walls are finished, complete. And I'm down a panel on the other side there. So again, it looks pretty good. I have no complaints with it. I don't know if I've showed this yet, but I do have this trim right here. I end up putting the same kind of trim on the bottom as I did the top. And it just kind of keeps it real nice and tight at the bottom too. So with that said, my next piece here to finish, or start I should say, is this entire side wall. So this is the loft steps, and I have this entire side wall to go. So that's going to be my next project here, getting this framed out. I did get the bottom done already. You can see the bottom. I got to put the verticals, which you can see I have one sitting there. I'm going to put those all the way up to the ceiling. 4 feet in between the posts is the goal, so I can get the insulation in there real nice. And let me show you here something that I'm contemplating. So ideally what I want to do is the top half, which was roughly 6 feet, maybe 5.5 feet or so, is going to be steel, white steel liner panel, just like the ceiling there. I think it'll give a nice clean look. And then the bottom half, down to the floor, is going to be T111 siding. Wood, 5/8 thick. And the reason why is I want to be able to hang wall cabinets very easily. And that T111's fairly flat. It has ridges, but the raised part is completely flat. It'd make it real easy to hang cabinets, shelving, anything I want to flat. And since it's all wood, it's very easy to hang from. You know, you have solid wood that you can put your anchors into. The steel's very tough. It's got ridges. It's very thin material. You really have to get on your joists, or I should say your girts here, in order for it to hang. You know, any type of weight that you want to hang on it, and you got to shim it out. So I think it'll look good. It's sort of like a wainscot look. The only difference is backwards. The bottom half, will be the wood, and then the top half's going to be the steel. But I think it'll be fine. I've seen a few other garages done that way, and it looks pretty sharp. And contrasting colors, so I'm going to keep it bright white on the top. I'm thinking like some kind of a light gray on the bottom T111 part. And where I'm at right now is I'm just setting this girt here all the way across to the correct height. And the correct height, because of the loft here, sort of has to match. Well, it does have to match, just because of the transition between the two. So I know it's hard to imagine, but this is a J trim, just an extra piece I had left over, but this is pretty much what I'm going to use. So from the bottom of that white J trim channel to the top up there is going to be steel. And this is going to be the transition, the top platform of the loft. So anything above this top platform is going to be steel. Anything below is going to be T111. And you have to maintain that height throughout the whole building. So all the way down. So what I've done is I set this girt pretty much where I believe I need it to be. And you can see this J channel here, and I have it set pretty level. But basically this J channel is going to attach to this girt. And then the plywood is just going to butt up against the bottom here. Now, if the edge looks kind of unsightly, you know, I can either caulk it or maybe put some corner round or some flat stock trim, whatever I want to, right on the bottom edge here where the plywood butts up against it. But the plan is to have a nice straight cut on the T111 so that you won't even see it anyhow. So that's kind of the goal, and I believe I have it set correctly. So I can run this J channel all the way down. I'll put the girt right here all the way down the height that I have it, keep it level. And that's going to be the transition middle piece. And what that also is going to allow me to do is when I put my verticals right here in the center, this is going to allow me to split that because I have 8 feet verticals that I'm putting in here. I mean, the building height's 14. I'm not going to try to squeeze a 14 in there all in one piece. So I can split this. This is a 2x6. So, you know, I'll do my measuring. I'll put my vertical down about midway there. It gives me plenty to fasten into there. And then I'll start my next vertical, fasten in there, and then just go down. 8 foots are a little bit cheaper, easier to handle, especially when you're climbing up 14 feet. And then I can attach at the top up there. It'll go right in between the header. And then at the bottom, if you can see down there, I already have that bottom plate down there, so I'll have something to attach down there. So that's the goal. That's my next steps here. I'll kind of keep you updated as I go, but got some work to do. Hey everyone, so it's the next day. It took me about 5 hours to kind of frame out this wall. I take my time. I don't rush anything. I want to make sure I get it nice and level. So I'll kind of show you here what I got going on now. And just today I'm kind of just prepping for some insulation, but wanted to show you what I got accomplished at this point. When I left off yesterday, I was just getting this first board put up here. Had to figure out my dimension, where I wanted it to be and everything. But as you can see, I got it all the way down level. So again, this is the midpoint board. This is where the steel going to the ceiling is going to meet the wood going to the floor. So I wanted to get that in place, and it also helped with my 8-foot divider verticals here. So you can see they go all the way up to the ceiling and down, but I just have them split there in the center and attached. But just wanted to kind of show you how I attach these. So I attach the bottom, obviously. I have something good to attach there. I have that board on top. And then I'm just toenailing into the wall girts here a little bit. You can see a screw on each side, just for a little bit of added support on that back. I did have to cut these boards down just a little bit to get them to fit. And mainly it was just because of that's a gas line that I have there. So I had to put all these on the table saw first, rip them down. They don't have to butt against the back, girt back here, the actual outside wall. All the verticals in place now. So I'm just kind of getting ready for some insulation. I have a few things I need to do yet, like behind every one of these gaps here. I'm just putting some R11, just shoving some of that behind there, just for some added insulation value. I mean, may not be necessary, but I think every little bit counts. So that's what we're gonna do today, and I'll keep you guys updated here on this progress. Update just a few hours later here. I'll show you where I'm at, and I think I'll show you how I hang one of these sections too. I kind of got a good feel for it now, so it's not easy, but I'll show you how I've kind of figured out how I can do it with a one man person and no lift, a couple of ladders. But here's where we're at right now. The next part here is just wrestling this insulation here around the corner. It'd be easier if my camper wasn't here, but I don't feel like taking it out right now, and it's snowing and cold, so it's gonna stay in the garage. So I'll just kind of fold it over, try to get it as small as I can manage. And then from there, I kind of just bear hug it. So the last step here that I do is I'm going to take some tape, start at the top, work the way all the way down on this seam here. It kind of helps hold it together, plus makes a nice tight seal as well. There we have it. That's another bay done. It takes just a little bit of time, but you know, you realize you're doing four foot bays at once. This insulation has actually been working out pretty good for me. It seems to be going fairly quickly. I mean, I'm about halfway done with this wall here today. I only got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more sections to go on this wall. And then we'll be done with this wall. Actually ran out of insulation. I have some on order. Should be coming in here soon. I'm starting though. Why I'm waiting on the insulation is the other side here, which is the other long wall in the garage. I'm gonna start framing that up here, get that going. Here's what I got started on the other wall here. I have my bottom plate, I cut those Again, I have to rip all those down. 3-ply laminated beams are a little bit smaller than a typical 5.5 inch. They're about 5 1/4. So I got to rip all the wood down that I put in between there. Just have a few bays here. It's not as big because I do have the back garage door, and I also have a man door. I do have the tops up there. I gotta fill those in with some insulation too, but that's what I'm gonna work on right now. Just trying to get these framed up a little bit and get this sidewall here ready for insulation. This is the last big wall though that I have left. So I got the back wall. I have the other side wall. Got that one almost done. This is the other long side wall. And then I still have yet to do the front wall. I'm gonna run some electrical on this wall here for a air compressor. I want to put an air compressor up front here, kind of in the middle of the two garage doors. So I need to wire, I'm gonna wire 220 and a 120. I'm not exactly sure the compressor I'm going with yet. And then I have a couple lights, outdoor lights, that, you know, they need wired. If you can see, I have the wire up there. I haven't ran, but I don't have the boxes or the fixtures or anything like that out there yet. So I really need to get those before I insulate any of this front wall. However, the front wall is mostly garage doors. So with these big garage doors here, you don't have much insulation left. So again, I'm not as worried about insulating this front wall right away. But we'll get back to working on this, get this framed up, and hopefully get this one here insulated soon. Here's what it looks like all framed in. We got these all split about in half. Some might be like an inch or so off just because of the top up there. Get a better angle here. So you can see there's a block up there. The contractors put those in there. And that's, I think, what they use to attach the trusses to. So if a board ran right up at the same spot, I had to move it over just slightly to get that in place. But otherwise, they're pretty much split in half, so we'll have no problems getting those 4-foot bats in each space. You can see I got my my middle split here. I got that mounted. So that's the dividing line again, same as what the other side is. So we should be good on that. Got them all done. And even above the door here, I'll show you what I did to that. I wasn't exactly sure how to frame this out. So this is what I did is I put this one here and then another one here to kind of box the whole thing in. So this will work just like what the bottom does. So you can tuck the insulation down into this box here, and that'll make a nice seal. I didn't go all the way down with it because I wanted a gap up here, so if I ever change the door, it won't be too tight. And I can shove some insulation or spray foam, you know, just this little gap here. You can see there's already a gap on the other side too from when they framed it in. So I think that'll work out pretty good. I think what I'll end up doing once the finished walls are done, I can just take some, I don't know, some flat stock of some sort and kind of just trim around this door, just make it a nice finished look so you don't see the gap or anything like that there. But I think it looks pretty good. I wanted to give you just an update. I'm going to close out this particular video and start a new one. You know, doing this all yourself, it takes a long time. You know, I work on it weekends, you know, sometimes some evenings during the week, and you know, I have made some significant progress. So I just wanted to show you where I'm at, and then we'll pick up from here on the next video and go from there. You know, I'm kind of done with the third wall, almost done. I'll show you what I got going on. Here's the third wall here, the one that I just finished framing, and you can see I have that middle girt attached there. I have all the insulation up to the man door. I got that installed. We'll kind of walk down this wall and show you where I'm at. So I just have a little section of insulation here, and then those two up there, I just threw those two in there. I actually have a light fixture I need to install on the exterior, so I haven't really done much with that one. I just wanted to throw some insulation in there for now. I'll pull that back out, do the electrical here soon, and then get that all buttoned up. I really appreciate all the support, all the subscribers, all the questions that I've been getting. But it is a long process, so I don't want to drag this video any longer. So I'll start on the next one here and kind of show you my new progress. And you may see a little bit behind me where I'm at, but I'll kind of pick it up from there, and stay tuned, and make sure you like and subscribe.